Well, they just admitted to mind controlling us. Social media apps don't want you to look up. I ain't quite done. I'm living in an echo chamber. A vicious cycle. It's a fight against the algorithm. So is our relationship with social media out of control? Hi, welcome to Agree to Disagree, a show where we value everyone's opinions. I'm your host Nicole, and I have a raging social media addiction. According to my iPhone, I average about 7 hours of screen time a day just on my apps. What do I do for 7 hours on my phone? I'm glad you asked. Tell me that isn't the best thing you've ever watched. 7 hours is barely enough time to consume such entertaining, high-quality content if you ask me. But spending that much time online probably isn't good for anyone. Remember this?
Facebook discovered that they were able to affect real-world behavior and emotions without ever triggering the user's awareness. They are completely clueless.
At the height of pandemic binge watching in 2020, Social Dilemma came out. Like any millennial with content FOMO, I watched it at 1.5 speed, plus 10 seconds throughout, because I don't like to enjoy things. The docudrama brought together high-ranking ex-employees of big social media companies like Google, Facebook, Twitter, behavioral psychologists, and social media researchers to spill the tea on how these apps have been designed specifically to control and manipulate us. Okay, so they just admitted to mind controlling us, and yet here I am, still scrolling Instagram first thing in the morning. But the thing is, didn't we all kinda already know this? We've been reading about this for as long as social media has been around. Social scientists have theorized and researched the implications of social media since, well, the invention of social media. Chances are, your Asian parents have probably warned you about it as well.
You post it so much because you use your phone too much Yeah, on TikTok again, that's why you cannot finish your work.
And I mean, all this coming from the same people who are now hooked scrolling Facebook live streams and videos, sometimes even more than me. So is our relationship with social media out of control? Or can we actually do something about our addiction? Very quickly, social media is any digital tool that allows its users to create and share content, like photos and videos, with the public. It's unique in that it empowers individual creators and is relatively uncensored. Sounds awesome, right? On that note, follow me at 𝔸𝕘𝕣𝕖𝕖. So why is it so associated with toxicity? The logic is simple. In this capitalist world, nothing is for free. We're paying for the price of staying connected with our data and attention. The more time you spend on these platforms, the more money you make for these companies, the more interesting these platforms become, and the better these platforms get, resulting in you spending more time on these apps. A vicious cycle. So, who's really to blame? Is social media inevitable?
I am inevitable.
And more importantly, is social media the problem, or are we the problem? Now that we know what we're arguing about, let's start arguing. One argument, two sides. It's Nicole versus Nicole. Look, right from the beginning, the odds are stacked against us. The way the apps have been designed, they literally build features that aim to get us addicted. These features are borrowed straight from casinos and slot machines, widely considered to be some of the most addictive machines ever invented. For example, the pull to refresh feature on Instagram and Facebook copies the action of pulling a lever on the slot machine, taking advantage of our attraction to unpredictability. Once you're in front of a slot machine, the casino wants to keep you there. That's why most casinos are windowless with no clocks. Similarly, once you're trapped in a spiral of infinite scrolling, social media apps don't want you to look up. That's why their feeds are deliberately designed to be endless. These attention-capturing tricks trigger our feel-good hormones, or dopamine, which keeps us glued to our screens. I mean, I can't even begin to describe the dopamine rush when I watch this little pig eat pastries. And he has a little friend!
Oink oink.
Biologically, dopamine is released, for example, when we eat or have sex. In this case, scrolling our feed excites us in the same way it excites jackpot players, releasing the same dopamine we feel when we eat our favourite fried chicken or when we're reaching the big O. thus encouraging us to turn this into an unhealthy habit that eventually becomes an addiction if you let it spiral out of control. So, social dilemma on Netflix is right. Social media apps are designed to keep us on, to give us the rush of dopamine at a speed that once we're used to, we can't stop craving. So when we're deprived of it, we feel upset and disconnected. But for all the endless doom scrolling, social media has really helped us stay ever more connected in a world where we're increasingly isolated. At the beginning of the pandemic, I was feeling lost, anxious, isolated, depressed at the state of affairs, and ironically, doom scrolling through social media gave me a lot of hope. I know, dopamine receptors, but no, not really. In a time where we are encouraged to minimize face-to-face physical interactions, these posts online felt like a big hug. Besides, this article by some smarties at the London School of Economics also highlights how social media became an important site for public understanding and discussion of COVID-19. And they're exactly right. In April last year, when Singapore experienced a flood of COVID-19 cases among migrant workers, who are arguably the backbone of our nation, many of us quickly turned to social media to organise or take part in donation drives, pulling together resources, scheduling deliveries, gathering latest need-to-knows from the government and sharing that information. The organisational speed and the reach gained could not have been done without social media. People say a lot of crap about social media being toxic, but the reality couldn't be more opposite for me, especially in this pandemic. Well, I think I ain't quite done. You know what they say, it's not what you have, it's what you do with it. The case of George Floyd is a perfect example of social media wielded as a tool of empowerment. From the video that was shot on the phone of a passersby to the virality of the upload, followed by the rallying of the masses online to uncover the truth, social media became a major witness and player in the pursuit for justice. The same mobilization of social media communities was seen in Asia during the February coup in Myanmar. People all around Southeast Asia rushed to educate the region and the world on the history and politics of the nation, which is not widely studied in our mainstream education, even though Myanmar is our neighbour. In these examples, social media has been utilised in a way that has brought more good in our lives, showing that if we wanted to, we have the power to make it a tool of empowerment rather than one that destroys. Now can I speak? Sorry, go ahead. You cutting me off earlier proves exactly my next point. Yes, social media might democratize information, but we humans are privy to this very thing called confirmation bias. Simply put, we look for information which supports our worldview, and social media companies prey on that. They want to keep you engaged and involved, so they take note of what you like, what you retweet, tag your friends in, and keep feeding you content that is similar to what you've already indicated makes you comfortable. So as a puppy enthusiast, this means I'm going to be exclusively looking at cute puppy videos because the algorithm keeps feeding it to me. Honestly, I'm not mad at all. Show me all the puppy videos. The danger comes when all I see are puppy videos and I don't know what else is going on outside of my puppy world. That's right, I'm living in an echo chamber. A puppy echo chamber. I like to believe that you, Nicole, are a discerning, intelligent individual that reads widely.
Bruh.
But even then, it's not easy to break out of your echo chamber unless you're really actively trying. I mean, it's a fight against the algorithm. Drawing back to how social media is at the start, it's supposed to keep you on for as long as it can because, remember, they benefit. The challenge is, how can we strike a balance? So, there's a trend that's going around of late. The rise of the normcore boyfriend. Specific green flags in men.
I believe I can fly.
Basically, it's trendy now to want a man with minimal social media presence and activity. But why? Because this signals to us that these men don't let social media control their lives, and they're the literal embodiment of disconnect to connect. Sounds smart and all, but in simpler words, I think, thanks to social media, a variety of opinions and perspectives are now easily accessible, but we have to be willing and open to listening to opinions that make us uncomfortable. Only then will we truly start understanding opinions that are not our own. Thanks for watching this episode. If you like what you saw, please like, share, subscribe, and tell me, what do you think? Is social media the problem, or are you the one with the problem? What are some healthy ways you're practicing setting boundaries? And more importantly, who wants to be my normcore boyfriend?